New corruption allegations against President Trump tonight, a bombshell. New report exposes a secret deal between the Trump family and an Abu Dhabi royal known as the Spy Sheikh. The Wall Street Journal reporting, quote, 4 days before Donald Trump's inauguration last year, lieutenants to an Abu Dhabi royal secretly signed a deal with the Trump family to purchase a 49% stake in their cryptocurrency venture for $500 million. At least $31 million was also slated to flow to entities affiliated with the family of Steve Witkoff, who is a World Liberty co-founder and had just been named the U.S. envoy to the Middle East. Joining us now is Sam Kessler, one of the Wall Street Journal reporters behind the story. Sam, the magnitude of this story and the scope of the deal and the reporting, there is just so much there. Can you just walk us through what actually went down here?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It is dense, and I appreciate you nodding at that. I think you did a pretty good job in the overview there, but just to go back a little bit. So my colleagues and I, Rebecca Ballhaus, Angus Berwick, and Elliot Brown, we broke this story last night. It's about a deal that happened just 4 days before the inauguration, like you mentioned last year, where the Trump family made a deal with a UAE royal, Sheikh Tahnoon, known as the Spy Sheikh, in exchange for 49% of their cryptocurrency company, World Liberty Financial. And the deal was worth $500 million with money flowing to those entities you mentioned, including entities associated with the Trump family and his, at that point, incoming envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff. It's crazy not just because of the scale of the deal. Those figures are obviously pretty massive, even by the standards of, other deals we've been hearing about in this administration, but it's also pretty extraordinary in terms of the timing. A big thing here is that Sheikh Tahnoon, in addition to being a royal and brother to the president of the UAE, is also that country's national security advisor, and he's been tasked with securing AI chips for the UAE. And he also oversees a portfolio of worth $1.3 trillion. It's pretty crazy, but basically, after this deal was signed, just within a few months, Sheikh Tahnoon's own company, G42, was granted access to these highly coveted, very advanced U.S. AI chips. So just the timing there has been a real focus of the reporting.
Can you just elaborate a little bit on the significance of that? So it sounds like, if I'm understanding you correctly, the tit for tat or the quid pro quo, whatever, the things that happened coincidentally, shall we say, were that Trump made a lot of money and the UAE got access to a lot of these AI chips. Would they have gotten that access otherwise? I know you're not a national security advisor for the U.S., but would that have been deemed to be
an indication, perhaps, that this deal was going to happen regardless?
Well, that this was in the United States' interest, that this would have happened absent that deal.
So I definitely can't state whether this deal was the factor that led to this chip deal, the latter deal being made. But what I can say is that under the Biden administration, the UAE and in specific Tahnoon's empire, this company G42 in particular, was blocked from access to particularly these chips for fear around national security and in particular ties to China. Now, G42 has denied that those ties really existed to the extent that the Biden administration might have contended they did, or people during, in that time frame. And they say that they've broken any ties that did exist, before the Trump administration came into office. But this is definitely a different posture towards the UAE as far as these chips are concerned than we saw in previous administrations or even earlier on in the Trump administration.
Just to clarify for our audience, and tell me if I'm misspeaking or if I'm misunderstanding, this deal would have been seen as a national security risk. Was blocked for a transaction like this would have been blocked for national security reasons. Then somehow we see that Trump gets a lot of money from this company, from the Spy Sheikh, and he goes, and then our posture about whether it's a national security risk changes.
Obviously, the Trump administration has taken a different posture towards a lot of things in comparison to relative to the Biden administration. So I'm not going to be able to say whether they wouldn't have made this deal anyway. But absolutely, the deal was not made under the Biden administration, and there was a change that happened here. And you can just look at the timeline that we lay out in this article, where there were meetings going on between Trump administration officials and people who were involved in this deal, on this deal being the World Liberty Deal on the UAE side. It's hard to, you just have to look at the timeline. You have to look at the people involved and draw your own conclusions on whether these things were linked. But it's certainly different than how things proceeded under the Biden administration.
We heard from Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, former personal attorney to the president. Take a listen to some of what he said in response to your reporting.
I love it when these papers talk about something being unprecedented or never happening before, as if the Biden family and the Biden administration didn't do exactly the same thing and they were just in office. President Trump has been completely transparent when his family travels for business reasons. They don't do so in secret. There's nothing unprecedented about the Trump organization going out and trying to make investments that basically all will come back to the American people and jobs in this country.
Did the Biden administration do anything like this?
I mean, there's a line in our report that I think Todd Blanche is referring to, where we say this is an unprecedented, I'm paraphrasing, but it's an unprecedented instance of a foreign official taking a direct stake in a U.S. president's company. And that is true. That is true. And I don't know what to say beyond that.
Let me ask you really quickly, and we're almost out of time. He used the word, Donald Trump is very transparent about when his family does these types of things. Obviously, I think for most people, just basically, I think that's not true. But a transaction of $500 million, I think, is what your reporting was based on. Walk me through, if you can, quickly, how a transaction of that magnitude was so not transparent. How is it that somebody who can buy a stake in a company, a lawyer does it doesn't get leaked to lawyers? I don't want you to give away your sources or anything like that, but it seems like such a big transaction that sat quietly for almost close to a year that no one knew anything about.
I mean, that's something I was just talking about in the green room before I came out here. I do think that one of the parts of this reporting that you hint at that hasn't really, it hasn't been as much a part of the discourse today as I think maybe it should be, is the fact that this was secret. And for all we've seen with this administration, I think generally they have been relatively transparent in terms of the business deals that we've been talking about.
Yeah, but like a real estate project
media.
here or there, not $500 million from a spy chief.
Yeah, so I think that this is, I mean, not just the scale of it, but the secrecy, the fact that it was secret for over a year. I don't know if it wouldn't have come out if not for our reporting, and it begs the question of why did they keep this particular deal secret? I don't know, but are there other deals like this that are also secret? It could be either or. Was this a remarkable deal, or is it totally unremarkable?
Well, we expect you to find the answer to that question and come back and report to us.
Got a busy beat.
Sam Kessler, thank you so much. That was excellent reporting. Really appreciate you coming on and talking about it.
Thanks for having me.
Keep us posted if you get any other breaks.